The new KB viewer is located in the bottom left-hand corner of VisualText. You can see many different types of files here. And before you only saw a .kb file. Now you see .dictionary files and .kbb files. And I'm going to explain each one of these to you. The .kb files, and you click on them, are the old way of dumping the knowledge base from memory into files and then being read back again. Having this in the KB area here, these will be read in. Now, all analyzers today only need a minimum amount of these original KB files. Eventually we'll get rid of them, but they still need to be there. So don't mess with them. Don't try to make any new ones. There's a button here to make them. Just forget about them. Leave them there and go about your business building your analyzers. The new KB file is called the KBV file. I kind of use that for the KB beautiful files. Why? Because when you click on them and you look at them, they are in human readable form. In fact, this form is the same form if you have been using the KB functions that are library functions, which you can get right here in the sequence analyzer. You can come here and look down in here and you'll find the display.kbb. When you do display.kbb, it will save the KB into a file and it'll look exactly like this. You can also use save KB and save it directly to a file. This one will save it to a path, this one saves it to a file. And so I made this in the beginning just to make it visible and readable. But then I thought, why not have it to be the new KB file? So that's what we do. The NLP engine now reads these KBB files, this in, just the way they're dumped. So if you do a display KB on a knowledge base that you have built, and then you leave it there and you put it in the KB viewer, it will be read in and will be available for use by you in your analyzer. That's really cool. And you can make your own. So these are also, you can make them algorithmically. That is, you can go and do like we do in the 13 in tutorial 13, where we're reading some web pages about the states, and we construct this about Alabama and Alaska and all the states and get this information from web pages. We can just easily construct this in memory, or we can actually just print it out into a file directly. Either way works. So that's really great. If I want to build one on my own, let's just call it David. It's going to give you this little starter here. I'm going to call this family. We're going to call this a child. We're going to call this actually a parent, parent, and we'll say they're tall and they're blonde. And then we're going to say grandchild 1. We'll put a colon because now we want an attribute. We're going to say age equals 4. We're going to put here age equals 10. And this is now KB. When I save this, save it. Now, if I were to run the analyzer with the, it doesn't matter what kind of tokenizer, it's going to read these in. And if it finds, if you keep this, if you read this in and use it, you will have this available for your analyzer. This knowledge will be available for your analyzer. Okay? So that's the KBB files. The other new one you see is the .dict files, which are the dictionary files. Again, what we're looking at is the tutorial 13, which you can find here. If you click on this and get the sample analyzers, you'll get this, and we're on tutorial 13b. So when I click that, we're already there. And so this is what this is from, so we can take a look at it. This tutorial reads the web pages and gets information. And part of the information about states are abbreviations. So I made some dictionaries. Well, dictionaries are really easy to make in the dict files. You have the word, and then after that you have attributes. And those attributes can be one word, one symbol. They can also have this special suggested attribute. This is very special. If you put s equals state here, what will happen is when you do the dictionary lookup, you have to either use the dictionary no white space or the dictionary tokenizer, and it finds AL, it's going to replace AL with the concept of state. So what this will turn into, if it finds an AL, is like this. Okay? Now, if it's a phrase, let's take a look at a phrase here, like in the states, like you have, for instance, down here, South Dakota. If you have a suggested node, what will happen? You'll have state, and then you'll have in the tree South, and then you have Dakota. Okay, That's the way to look. Now, if you don't put the suggested node and it has more than one word, it will put it under a phrase because that's the only way it can group it together, saying, look, those two words go together. So if you don't have an S attribute, it's going to put that, and then it would put like abbreviation, and that would be SD, and that would be in the tree. This is what you'd see in the tree from this dictionary. So dictionaries are real easy to build. I build them by hand all the time when I'm building analyzers. And also we have library, a place where you can go get library of dictionaries and eventually KBs. We don't have KBs, but we're working on that. But you can go here and let's say I'm building an analyzer and I want to go in and get some English dictionaries. Well, I can click on this and I can find all these different types of dictionaries. They're just dict files that I can that come with the visual text. Here are adjectives, adverbs. Maybe I just want parts of speech, or I can get the full English dictionary. If I click on that, you're going to see here 190 over 190,000 words, and they're parts of speech. Okay, that's how easy you can get it. Maybe I want some stop words in Chinese, so I'll go here, get some stop words in Chinese, click on that, and now these are there. Now, if I call Chinese and I have this in my knowledge base, it's going to, and it finds this symbol, these two together, it's going to make that into a concept called stop word. Those things we don't want to see, perhaps. Okay, so that's another way you can do that. Now, we also, as we're developing, we have an analyzer as in Analyzer 13 here, 13b, in tutorial 13b, we are creating knowledge bases, abbreviations, cities, for instance, here are the cities, a dictionary, etc. And we're creating this. And maybe we want to clean those out because when we want to run it, we don't want to run it and have all the stuff that we just generated, because we're actually trying with this analyzer to generate these things, not use them necessarily. Well, I have this icon up here called clean, and you can clean all of the files but those KB files. Those old files you got to keep around, or maybe all the valid files, get rid of all the files except for KB, and dict, or you can choose these all, but I'm going to get rid of all those files except for the KB files, and there they are. So if I run this on, for instance, one file here, I'll run this analyzer to go get information, you're going to see those files appear here. So that's a good way to clean those up. Just come over here, bam, and then they won't be there while I'm running the analyzer. The other thing you can do, and we're gonna run this analyzer again, is when you have these files here, and let's say you bring in a file. Okay, you have a file, and you're going to see that these appear here, like this cities file. But you don't want to run the cities, because if you leave that there, and you say, well, I don't want to have those right now, you can click this toggle button. So this toggle button will just add a T to the end of the dict files. And if you have a KB file, it'll add another B. So it's KBBB. If you click it again, it'll make it active. So this is a way that you can try out dictionaries and knowledge bases, or if you're developing them, that's how you can use that. And the last thing you can do is to move those KB files. For instance, I have this KB states, and let's say I want to move that to a different analyzer, maybe my corporate analyzer, or my full English parser, or one of the tutorials. I can choose this, and it will move this into that other analyzer. Let's go ahead and just choose the first one which didn't have the KB, and if I go over here now, and there it is. The states are there. So this is a way you can move KBs. Maybe one analyzer will build a KB, and then you will use it in another analyzer, so I can go ahead and then move that analyzer very easily in that way. So I hope you've enjoyed our explanation for the KB viewer, the new KB viewer. It's really powerful. Have fun.